Sasylia, having finished her business with Riven and Sparhawk, turned to Maple. Hello, Maple. How is your brother doing? So, you wish for protection of your village against those who would do it harm. Sasylia has some ways. But first, here's what I want. I sense something different about you, lass. No, I won't be going as in-depth as I was with your previous friends here. But I want another peek into your mind. See what's different about you. What's happened to you. See what I can figure out, piece together. We both might find something out. Don't worry, it'll be harmless. You walk away with every hair on your pretty head. And in return, I will share with you a druidic way which will conceal your village. Come, lay on the table. As Maple walks to the table and lays down on it, a gong resounds in Sasylia's hut from an unknown location. You don't see anything that could make the sound, but Sasylia looks up. She says, "We must make this quick. I have an appointment to make. Now, let's see inside." Maple laying on the table. Just like she did before, Sasylia takes her fingers and sticks them inside of Maple's head. Her fingers mesh into Maple's flesh, and Sasylia's eyes roll back. Maple, her form begins to change, like it did in the Beholder's Lair. Slowly, you see her rugged and scarred, scratched, calloused skin begin to heal and become soft. Like a child. Like a young child when you first met her, all but her calloused hands. And her dreads begin to float in air like they were adrift, suspended in water. And these dreadlocks begin to extend, elongate, and have these orbs of light twinkling around them. And from Maple's back grow these tentacle stalks protruding outward with these other balls of light attached to them. Her eyes begin to lengthen like that of an elf before slowly beginning to conjoin into a single eye. And the balls of light from her dreadlocks and the tentacle stalks off of her back begin to appear as these spectral eyes. And Maple begins to levitate ever so slightly off of the surface of the table. Maple, what you see in this moment, as you drift into a sudden vision in your mind, you are brought back to the memory of the gold beholder, the event that triggered this transformation. You're replaying the memory in your mind, and Sasylia is there. Not in the memory, but you sense her presence. And in that memory, you see yourself approaching this beholder that is sleeping and conjuring this nebulous reenactment. And when you touch the beholder and share with it your dream, your memory of Pine, the stream of nebula conjoins with you as it did in the memory in that event, and your transformation happens. Sasylia, you hear her voice, and she says, "Interesting. Not my first guessed what would happen with a sleeping beholder, but interesting nonetheless. Let's go a bit deeper." Almost in a swipe of a scene, you and Sasylia are in a different room. If you can call it a room, it is a room, but there are paintings on the wall. In this circular room with only one wall, there are paintings all around. And in these paintings, they are different snapshots of Sasylia's hut. You and Sasylia are in this room, and going around to these paintings, they're all of Sasylia's hut, but at different moments, recent moments. You, Sparhawk, and Riven, and Sasylia are all there. You see yourself in these pictures, these paintings. Sasylia looks to you and says, "Don't touch anything. I want to see for myself what this does." She goes up to one painting. She looks at it, and she puts her hand through. And when she puts her hand through, that painting begins to expand and take up the space of the entire wall until it has engulfed this entire room. And in another swipe of events, just color and light rush past your eyes. You are now back at Sasylia's hut. For Riven and Sparhawk, nothing has happened yet. Sasylia invited Maple to the table. Maple had laid down on the table. And then, all of a sudden, you hear that gong. And Sasylia says, "Let's make this quick. I've got an appointment." But I said that already, didn't I? That is something now, isn't it? Maple, you realize everything, you remember everything. Sasylia does too, but to Sparhawk and Riven, Sasylia hasn't done anything yet. Sasylia goes over to Maple, puts her hand on her head, and she says, "Child, you have a gift." She pats you on the head. "Get up. I have what I want." She begins to explain. "I believe what happened in the event with you and the Beholder is not hard to understand just by watching it. In some interesting form of events, you and the Beholder merged powers, qualities, essences, momentarily. And you inherited, absorbed some of the Beholder's features while it took some of yours. Beholders are from the far realm. The far realm is a place of madness, chaos, nonsense, and not the fun kind. There are things there which mortal and even divine minds cannot begin to understand. Powers there that could rival gods. The only thing that keeps the foul realm at bay is the balance of the pantheons of the gods. The balance of good, evil, and everything in the gray, as she motions to herself. The far realm always seeks to expand. And in moments of great cosmic unbalance, things begin to slip through the barrier. Beholders, aboliths, mind flayers, these are things that originated from the far realm, and as such they are other. You might be able to understand them to an extent, but there is always something about these aberrations which is unknown, a bit mad. And this seems to be one such anomaly. You, Maple, have been given a gift of sight. It's good to know. What will Sasylia do with this? I've yet to figure out. But I'm most curious where it will lead me. But none of that your concern. Time to get you what you wanted. So, you want a way to conceal Vanderswall, do ya? Well, there is a druidic way which I know to conceal such a place. Sasylia rummages around her hut, and out of a small chest, she grabs a large seed. She holds it up. She says, "This seed, plant it in the heart of your village. It will grow in 2 months' time. This tree will protect your village. In order to make use of its magic, you just need to make sure that your village has a spirit of love. The more prosperous and loving the spirit of your village is, the more this tree will blossom white petals. When the tree begins to blossom its white petals, take them, plant them around the boundary of your village, and in 3 days' time, the barrier will be activated. The barrier, the protection, wards against all those who are not friends of the village. This does not mean that people who are not friends wish you harm. They're not necessarily positive. They could be neutral. I am neutral. But if the person is not specifically a friend of the village, they will be misguided. They will not see the village. They will not hear the village or smell it. They will see what the land would look like if the village were not there. Trees, forests, whatever would be in its place. If your village does not possess a spirit of love, petals will not blossom, and the magic, the protection, will drift away. So bring the light to your village. Make it a kind place. There you go. You have your protection. Sparhawk, you have your weapon, Riven. You have your bones. Thank you for coming to do dealings with Sasylia. I am so very certain I will see you again. Now be gone. And when she holds up her hand to smoke plumes out of her hand, and in a gust of strong wind and smoke, your vision is overwhelmed, and you are back in the crack of the canyon and the small cave opening where the pedestal of the stone skull was. With all of your deals concluded and having received everything you had asked for, you begin your way back to Banderswall.